So this is problem set 221 from Algebra 2 Big Ideas, number 70. And this one, I think we'd like to understand what it's talking about before we actually do the problem, because there's a lot of problems just like this that give us a quadratic, and it would be nice to find the maximum or minimum or whatever we need for it. An electronics store sells 70 digital cameras per month at a rate of $320. For each $20 decrease in price, about 5 more cameras are sold. So if they lower the price, they sell more cameras, and so forth. So if the higher the price, the lower the number of sales and so forth, but you might make more money with that information. So it might not be that it's such a bad thing to have a lower price, but let's find out how this works. So the first thing I would say is to understand this problem, I think I need to understand what's happening. So these are number of cameras. You don't really need to do this, but I think it helps. The number of cameras. So they say they start with 70, and the price for each of the cameras is $320. The maximum revenue, how much money they bring in, would be 70 times 320. You could work that out and figure out what's going on. But let's do this first. It says here, for every $20 decrease in price, so actually it should be the other way around, but whatever. For every $20 decrease in price, so if I price the cameras at $300 instead of $320, I'm expecting to sell more cameras. It says 5 more cameras. If I decrease another $20, then I'm going to sell more cameras and so forth. So you could kind of figure this out by guessing, but I don't think it's necessary to do that. So I just wanted to understand that for every $20 decrease in the price of the camera, we're going to sell more cameras, and the revenue is calculated by multiplying those two numbers together. Now, so when we talk about the price of the camera over here, 320 minus 20x, that would be like, this is the first, this is one decrease, so I decreased by $20. This is 2 decreases, so I decreased by $40. This is decreased by 3 20s, so I decreased by $60. So I just want you to understand what the X stands for, how many decreases there are. And then over here with the camera sales, how many you sell, this is 70 for 0. And then 75 becomes 70 plus 5, 1 5s. And 70 plus 2 5s, that's where the 80 comes from. And 70 plus 3 5s, and so forth. So that's where this comes from. 70 plus 5 times each decrease or increase or decreases in the price. All right, so let's see what we can talk about first of all. So first of all, we have the price and we have the sales, and we know we multiply those together to get the revenue. So for instance, if you multiply 70 times 320, whatever that is, 210, 210 and I don't know, 2100 and 140. So what is that? 2240. I should probably check that and make sure I'm making a fool of myself here. Let's see. 70 times 320. 2240. I need an extra 0 there. All right, so $22,400. That's how much revenue they'd have. All right, so now use the verbal model and quadratic to determine how much the store would should charge to maximize the monthly revenue. So again, I'm believing that we could do this by we could graph it and we could look where the maximum is. But another way of looking at the maximum is seeing that this is, once again, since they're both in parentheses and they both have an X in them, this is in intercept form. If we look at it as an intercept form problem, if we can tell where the two intercepts are, we'll be able to tell the X value of the vertex. So let's see, this 320 minus 20x equals 0. So I want to figure out what this intercept is. So adding that 20x to the other side, adding 20x to the other side would get 320 is equal to 20x. Dividing by 20, we'd get x is equal to 16. So one of my intercepts is 16. The other equation, 70 plus 5x equals 0. I'd say 5x is equal to negative 70, and x is equal to negative 14. Well, that's kind of interesting because I guess we could go the other way and we could make the price higher. but I don't know if that's really it doesn't really matter. So what I've got is I've got an x-intercept of -14 and another x-intercept of positive 16. The average of 16 and -14. If you add 16 and -14, you get 2 divided by 2 is 1. So that tells me that the x value of the vertex is 1. That means that this is the maximum area, or the maximum revenue. So if we have one decrease in price, we'll sell more cameras, and we'll have the most amount of money. So 300 times 75, I know that 3 times 75 is 225. So the maximum revenue must be 22,500. And we can see it's more than the initial one. And if this is a parabola, true to case, then the number 2 should be 22,400 again, and then 3 will be lower again. You could check it out on a graphing tool, but I don't think it's necessary. If you see that these are in vertex or intercept form, we can find the x-intercepts by setting each part equal to 0 and average them to find the x value of the vertex.